Hey everybody, I'm Wes,
I'm Chris.
and we are
Last Bastion Studios.
And today we're going to talk Flash 101. Chris, I didn't like DC Comics when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
No, not really.
I don't really know why. Maybe Wizard Magazine convinced me that they sucked. Or maybe it was just I got hooked on Marvel first.
Come on, the X-Men, man.
I mean, yeah, the cartoons had a massive power and all that. So, but either way, I never really read a lot of Flash comics or any other DC character comics. I just sort of read whatever was considered like a classic, Dark Knight Returns, some Batman stuff, a couple Superman things. But anyways, recently I found a garage sale and they had a giant collection of DC comics for very cheap. So I scooped them up, and in there was a lot of these collected editions of these Silver Age comics and stuff like that. And so I started reading them, and I'm realizing, wow, DC has some pretty incredible roots, and they might not be as bad as I thought they once were. So I came across these two books in this collection, and they both string together to form what I think is Flash 101. All right, now you got to kind of go back and forth between the two to sort of get it all.
So you can't start with one or the other. You kind of just have to bounce
Well, you
between.
definitely have to start with this one because, and I'll show you why right away. The first set of stories right here starts in 1947, and you're starting with the original Flash.
Oh, okay, cool. It's got
Garrick,
all the dates when
right?
they're released.
But the giant size Flash annual, when you go back in here, the dates that it starts with are 1956 going to 1963.
Ah, okay.
Now, if you go back here, there's a gap from 1949 to magically 1961 where all of this fills right in.
Okay, so we just have to put it over here.
Just stick it right
This is an
in there.
insert purchase later.
Yeah, and so when you think about it, you get a really broad spectrum of Flash stories from 1947, really all the way until 1978, and then it jumps a gap again until 1994. Either way, this gives you the roots of who the character Flash is.
So you see kind of like the whole evolution up until like the mid-90s of where he was at from the 1940s on.
Not just where he was at, but who the Flash was. One of the interesting things about Flash is that his mantle has successfully passed on to multiple people, and you do see that throughout these books. You see Jay Garrick, the original Flash, you see Wally West, and you see Barry Allen.
Yeah, when I first read, my first Flash comic, I don't even remember what it was, but I was completely disinterested about a guy who just runs fast. But now, like, over the years of understanding of, like, who the Flash is and what the title is and, like, the mantle, it's gotten far more interesting for me.
Yeah, it's definitely great. Let's start going through here. And we start, this is right off, this is a Jay Garrick Flash. This is the original Flash. He's got that Mercury look. He's definitely not trying to hide who he is. Everybody knows who Jay Garrick is. It's like your neighborhood dude. Oh, hey, Jay. And he just so happens to also be the Flash. But it has this very sort of classic style where almost everything, even the Batman comics, had this very stylized look. And everybody's sort of doing that.
Yeah.
This is really also, you can kind of think of this as sort of a Carmine Infantino show because he's the guy responsible for, I don't know, a good 80% of the art in these comics.
Okay.
And over the years, he was one of the main Flash artists throughout all the time. And it's interesting to see his speed effects and everything that happens over time. And
Like the actual designs evolve. Okay.
Yep, not just that, but even the style. So it doesn't take long.
Going from that old 1940s, 50s, like detective story,
where
cop
we're
comic.
even sort of starting to move out of it, and you're starting to get a new variety of speed effects and speed lines and things like that.
Oh, cool.
Now, I will say that this has a title of the greatest Flash stories ever told. That's definitely a bit of a misnomer. So you start getting
more
things
effects.
like this.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the earlier comic, you just get some very basic
Ha!
honestly straight lines. Like,
or just regular man running.
Regular man running, yeah. Wind line, you know. But here you're starting to get these.
Yeah, I like how his
movements.
clothing is now being blurred and everything, like the trails.
Yep. And so, bam, now you're jumping into this new sort of. This is where the gap comes in, right? Mm-hmm. But.
So that
we jumped from 49 to 1961. So now if we come here, this is where you start getting into the art of the 50s. And again, most of this is art by Carmine Infantino, and there's a really cool thing in the middle here. But
yeah, stylized shapes, heavy black lines.
On top of this, this is where the Flash's rogues gallery really starts to develop. You start getting all these different characters. And this, by the way, is Barry Allen. This is no longer Jay Garrick. He's keeping his Flash suit inside of a ring, and it's just magically growing to the size of the Flash. Like it's like one of those sponges that you throw in water, and it. Like,
I had a friend that drank one of those before.
And so again, you start seeing the evolution of like speed lines and different things that he starts doing.
Is that a thought ray?
It is, actually. These, and I gotta admit, Silver Age comics, let's be honest, they're kind of corny. They're very wholesome, but they're also very corny.
Back when Death Ray meant something.
Yeah, and you've got very simple motivations, much simpler solutions, much simpler problems. So if you're not into Silver Age comics, or you're not curious about the growth of the character or the evolution of their rogues gallery or anything else, then these aren't really of interest to you. And so even his like fighting, you know, now there's...
I do like the heavy silhouettes and like the colors that really clash with each other to make it pop.
Yeah, you start seeing this evolution of everything through this.
What would you say is like the biggest change over the whole series?
For me, it's the art style.
The art style?
And, like I said, interestingly, for the most part, this is all Carmine Infantino. He's the guy who's making the calls, and everybody else who fills in, they're following what he does. They're taking from him these crazy motion things that are happening. And by now, you're starting to get Kid Flash in there, who's Wally West, who then evolves on to take over the mantle and everything else.
Was he in charge of doing the colors as well?
That I cannot answer off the top of my head.
There's so many in here.
Way to make me look like a fool. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's all right. This is rad.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
So this is where you
love
start
that action
to see
shot.
all this cool stuff. And then even like through here, you see him moving through this structure in those blurred lines and partial forms.
Is that
I think
urn?
that's a desk design.
Yeah. It's like, what? Tornado of dragons.
Yeah, and he's starting to do
more zigzaggy
more
stuff.
Zigzags and
that's
line
so
work,
cool.
speed lines. And now this I also really dig. If you're into art and you want to learn how to draw, these are just very simple, fast. I feel like Carmine Infantino was annoyed to be asked to do this.
Yeah.
He's like, you draw a circle, you draw more shapes.
Suddenly
and then
you got
finish
Flash.
Draw this, then you finish it.
But I do like this style, though. It's like from that era of where like the 8-head tall fashion, like, you know, costumes and stuff were built that way. So all the proportions are kind of matching that.
Which again, he was the guy who was drawing those funky 40s and 50s Jay Garrick ones. And again, you get these. He's showing you these speed movements,
so much.
Which is
That's
all
so cool.
super cool. And then, they do a throwback issue, and they start bringing back some of the Rogues Gallery. So the other interesting thing about the Flash is the Flash tends to hop into a bunch of different Earths and meet a bunch of different versions of heroes and himself and stuff like that. And it actually creates kind of a problem for DC. And he seems to be the root of all those problems.
Just moving too fast, man.
Seriously, because he starts vibrating and he like crosses planes of existence and stuff like that.
That's so insane.
So, yeah.
Far more interesting than man that runs fast.
Yeah. So and even the evolution of these like panel movements, and he's chasing after this super fast ship. And this is where you get, again, his famous rogues gallery, Gorilla Grodd, and all these other characters. So they all start popping up in this time. And again, these stories they're corny, man. I'm not going to lie.
Come on, who doesn't like Grodd?
They're fun, but the real interesting thing here is, again, the evolution of the character and the evolution of the art style.
Oh. Which I absolutely dig.
Brief cover.
Famous flyers.
Yeah. And you start seeing these.
Is that a bear?
I believe it is. Yeah. I think this is when like the zoo is going wild, and so they start. Oh yeah. So Kid Flash. So he's trying to hide from Wally West that he's, the Flash.
The Flash.
And he's like, oh, I know my friend, the Flash. And he's like running right past this kid. And this is what's fun, is you see this super collapsed seconds of time across a single, set of panels.
Yeah.
He's barely moved a couple steps and has a hand out for the door before the Flash is zipping past him, somehow not breaking the sound barrier and blasting
and blowing
him through like the door.
Yeah.
Opening and closing it before he can even see to appear on the other side.
You would think there's giant sonic booms happening all the time.
The kid has the same thing happen. Just so happens...
Science!
Just so happens Barry seems to keep the same chemicals against the wall that lightning likes to strike for some reason, and it turned him into Kid Flash, and so... all of a sudden, he gives him his own suit, and he's throwing a baseball and having him catch it before it hits the wall, which is super fun.
And it still pops out of the ring?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
His suit pops out of his own ring, and so then they work together and stuff like that. But yeah, so you have that, and then bang, we're back into the 60s again, where Flash meets Flash, because again, he's running so fucking fast, he's popping through dimensions, like here.
Pop.
And then he's like, wait a minute.
Let's go to this panel. Look at this Flash right here. He looks like a sad man, just unenthused about the speed of life. He's just like...
it's too slow for me.
Fine.
He's the 1950s embodiment of I can't drive 55. And then the Jay Garrick origin. So for the Flash, in his world, he used to read Flash comics where the Jay Garrick is the character. So he crosses over into Jay Garrick's world and is like, I know how you became the Flash. And he's like, nobody knows how I became the Flash. He's like, I do because I read it in a comic. Cool, let's team up. I kid you not. We're both Flash.
I don't get it,
it's
but
like
I'm gonna roll with it.
an older retired Jay Garrick and stuff.
Just trying to hit the country club, man.
Yeah, so again, they're moving so fast they zip through walls.
Yeah, which is rad.
Fun shit. Cool evolution of the art style again. Evolution, growth of the characters, Here's his famous gauntlet of supervillains.
Are they just playing music at him?
Talk about soap opera here. They never want to actually, kill him when they have him in the position to kill him. They're like, no, it'll be so much better if we...
torture you? Or...
not even torture you. If we pull off said crime, because then it'll be like, we beat the Flash. It's pretty lame.
Yeah.
They have terrible motivations in a lot of these Silver Age things, but again, they do a lot of cool stuff with the art. And so here, Flash is spinning his hands so fast that he's basically melting the ray back into the cold blast back into Captain Cold. It's kind of fun. He starts doing new things with his body.
Wait, I can windmill attack?
Yeah, he can windmill attack, and apparently he can windmill attack so fast he can cut things. He can like knock it in reverse, and he can do all kinds of.
Oh
fun
my
stuff.
god, this is nuts!
Zoom.
I definitely have to take a look through all this. This is so bananas.
Yeah. Okay. Here he's running through.
Oops! Cross-dimensional gauntlet.
And then he starts spinning so fast, and he's vibrating that wing, 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 wing. He's like vibrating through like walls and stuff.
So crazy.
Yep. Yeah, he does all kinds of crazy stuff.
Him and Grodd are friends?
No, they are not. This is a different gorilla.
Oh, different gorilla.
This is a female gorilla. It's basically like Grodd is cheating on his wife and she's coming to kick his ass.
Oh my god.
And he's like, no.
That is, wow.
So he's beating up. He's got a lot of like strange, telekinetic powers and stuff. And so he fucks with Flash like speed punches him a bunch of times.
Gorilla beatdown.
And then this girl's like trying to stop him. So she's like, I'll teach you to two-time me with other females. It's so great, dude.
Oh my god.
Flash
is
so pissed.
Just like, why did I get roped into this?
Yeah, she's so pissed.
Just run away, man.
And then he gets trapped without his mental powers. And so then there's Reverse Flash, evil version of Flash, again doing
really fun, crazy stuff.
Now he's spinning so fast, he's deflecting things and hitting everybody at once. It's like in He-Man, remember the tornado dude?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Punch? Same sort of thing. Like, vibrating right through walls is hilarious. But again, he's a big problem for DC. DC has so many different worlds that their stories get convoluted and they have to destroy everybody and everything and start all over again with one continuity. Hence Crisis of Infinite Earth, hence the New 52, hence all these things that they keep doing.
Just using the Flash as an Etch-a-Sketch. Be gone, my problems.
Yeah, it's a two-edged sword, right? It's a gift and a curse. Number one, it allows DC to continually reset their continuity and retell all their classic tales, as well as streamline what the character is with each new incarnation, right? Because somebody always redoes the origin of Batman, and they take the best elements of what everybody else has done, and then they add a little dash of their own, and it's still the origin of Batman, but
just
different
details.
Flavor. Yeah, so
cool.
More guys trying to run on water. Apparently, one of them can't run on water. I don't know why. Different artists. You start seeing different people do Flash aside from Carmine Infantino, but they're borrowing a lot of the same tricks and gimmicks and the spinning.
I do like the transition
walls.
to more like dynamic shots of like really up close and like worm's eye view stuff and
breaking of the panels and stuff.
Yeah,
I agree. I like these sorts of things a lot better.
Yeah, he's busting through the panels. And
but again, they're taking from Carmine Infantino. He's passed the baton, so to speak. The rotations and vibrations in one door, out the other. And he's in the comic and he's passed through another world, and this time he's reading a comic about himself.
So this is like
in this dimension,
Stranger Than Fiction type of deal.
A little bit, it's all super meta. Kind of like how he did with Jay Garrick, somebody is able to do with him. He's like, I know who you are. You're the Flash. You're in my comic.
Get away from me.
Yeah, so again, the Flash is a major interdimensional problem.
Yeah.
And then he builds this like treadmill, this like super speed treadmill that allows you to cross dimensions.
That's
to go home.
So insane.
Yeah.
but I like it.
Yeah,
simple.
I mean, it's a soap opera, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Look at this character right here. This is fun.
Oh yeah, he zaps this thing with radiation until he like overwhelms it. Somebody comes back, captures him, and like takes him away. He's like an escapee from an intergalactic space prison.
Yeah.
And Flash neutralizes him just in time and is about to kill him, and dude shows up and he's like, "Oh hey, thanks."
I needed that.
Yeah, I'm out. Gorilla Grodd again. Kid Flash. Now you have Wally West growing up. That's another interesting thing, is definitely the age progression of all these characters, whereas a lot of characters tend to stay one sort of age. Here you go, breaking panels and coming in multiple directions.
Nice.
Spin blocking.
I like the somersault.
Yeah, the somersault's cool. All of a sudden, she's she's like possessed or something and driving so fast. She just like jumps.
Oh my god.
But because he's protected by the speed force in the suit, he's not burning and apparently causing
cataclysmic destruction.
Yeah, cataclysmic destruction and sonic booms everywhere he goes. Unless he really wants to, I guess he can.
Okay.
You know, so again, the return of Gorilla Grodd, you know,
Gorilla with a gun.
Fuck him with everything. Wally West, and then his parents find out. You're Kid Flash?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Jeez, Mom. I didn't realize that there were so many gorillas in Flash.
Well, it's really one main gorilla, but there's like a gorilla city.
Yeah.
And that gorilla city is... Gorilla Grodd's like the rebel of the city. He's always plotting to take it and the world over. Oh, and this is Turtle Man, a guy who moves so slow that it fucks with the Flash.
Yeah, it's the perfect enemy. Catch me if you can, Flash.
Yeah. And he zapped Flash with this thing that makes Flash think that everything is moving faster than him.
He's slower.
Yeah.
Classic.
And he eventually... you know, gets rid of it, can run through a bus, can run through a rock, and is now running on water, baby. Running so fast around the world. Trying to find Homeboy. This dude's throwing his shell. Chops him a bunch of times. Yeah, so...
This is super cool. I definitely like the collection, and I think it gives a pretty well-rounded... showcasing of the different artists and the different eras of Flash.
Yeah, and the different characters and the different villains. So it's really fun. You start getting into funky, more psychedelic things.
Yes,
and
which is
lives
awesome.
Again and stuff. And then you get, you know, from these 7, I think this is the last one, 70, and then all of a sudden it jumps to the 90s, and it's Mike Wieringo art, who I like. And it's Wally West, and he's fully inherited the mantle of the Flash. But yeah, this, like I said, is sort of the roots of DC's, one of DC's big characters, one of the main JLAers, you know. And it's,
are these still in print? Are these hard to find?
No, they're not hard to find. They're really easy to find, and they're really cheap.
Rad.
You can find them in a lot of used bins and a lot of used stacks. Yeah, like I said, they're definitely not hard to find. This is a reprint, of course. This is not the original. But even this one is fairly cheap and easy to find. Hopefully, it stays that way.
Yeah.
Especially if you're interested in the Flash or dig the Flash and want to know more about the roots of the Flash.
Definitely pick these things up, man.
So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And like I said, that is Flash 101, and we encourage you to check it out.
Yeah, pick it up.